The Unkind Little Girl. Millie lived in a great big house on the top of a hill. She had a nanny, a maid to look after her clothes, and her very own private teacher. In her playroom were the finest and loveliest toys you can imagine. So many of them that really her playroom looked like a toy shop. But Millie didn't love her toys. She didn't take care of her dolls or cuddle them. She didn't put them away at night. She didn't take her teddy to bed with her. She never dusted her doll's house, and as for her books, the only thing she ever did with them was to tear them. She was an unkind little girl. If anything went wrong, she stamped and screamed, and every day she broke some of her toys. Once she threw a doll out of the window, and its head broke right off. Another time she trod on her bear and her pink rabbit because they wouldn't squeak loudly enough to please her. So you can guess how afraid all her toys were of her and how they trembled when she came into the playroom. Most toys are glad when boys and girls come to play with them, for they get bored when they are left alone. But Millie's toys hated her and would have run away if they had dared to. Now one day a beautiful fairy doll with wings and a crown came to the playroom. She was so lovely that all the toys fell in love with her at once. "It's a pity you have come to this playroom," said the teddy bear to her. "Millie is such an unkind child. She is sure to break your arm or take away your golden crown." "Oh, how dreadful," said the fairy doll in alarm. "Oh, look, here she comes." Millie came in. She was in a very bad temper that day because her teacher had made her learn the 6 times table and had kept her in until it was all learnt. Millie was a lazy girl and she didn't like learning anything, so she wore a frown on her face and she stamped straight into the playroom as if she were a cart horse. "Quietly, quietly, Millie," said Nanny, who was sewing in a corner. "Be careful with your toys now. You left them all lying about the floor this morning, and you'll tread on them if you don't look where you are going." "I don't care if I do tread on them," said Millie crossly, and she stamped on a brick and broke it. Then she trod on a little clockwork mouse and broke that. She threw open her toy cupboard door and swept everything out onto the floor in a temper. Crash, smash, crash! Goodness, what a mess! There was a little doll with a broken nose, a clockwork rabbit whose leg was knocked off in his fall, 2 books whose pages were bent, another doll whose toes were chipped as she fell feet first, and the fairy doll with her crown knocked off and a wing torn. Oh dear, what a lot of damage was done, to be sure, when the bad-tempered little girl swept all her toys out of the cupboard in a hurry. "Millie, Millie, what are you doing?" cried Nanny in alarm. "Just look at your toys. You have broken half of them. It's unkind and horrid of you." "I don't care," said Millie crossly. "Toys are meant to be broken." "Oh, no, they are not," said Nanny, picking up the poor toys and putting them back into the cupboard. That night, when Millie had gone to bed, the fairy doll picked up her crown and put it back on her head. She looked very angry. She smoothed out her torn wing and then looked round at the other toys. "Toys," she said in a little tinkling voice. "Toys. I will not stay here with this horrible child. I am going away. Who will come with me?" "I will," cried everyone at once, and all the toys stood up together. Even the bricks and books cried out too, and the fairy doll was pleased. "No child as unkind as Millie ought to have toys," said the fairy doll. "Now listen, I have an idea. I know that there is to be a party for poor children in the church hall not far from here. There will be a big tub full of toys for the children. It's a lucky dip. The tub is filled with sawdust and the children put their hands in, take out a parcel, undo it, and find a toy inside which they keep. Shall we all go to the hall and hide ourselves in that tub?" "Yes, yes," cried the toys. "But how can we all get there? The bricks and books can't walk." I have just a little magic in my wand, said the fairy doll. It's only a very little, but I think it will be enough to help us. I will wave it and wish for little legs to grow on every toy that cannot walk. And then you will all please follow me and we'll go away from here. She waved her wand. Goodness, what a strange thing happened. Every brick, every book, every ball, even the bucket and spade grew little legs. It was a funny sight to see them all running about here and there. Get into line now, ordered the fairy doll. I know the way, and you must all follow me. It's a fine moonlit night, and we shall be able to see our way very clearly. So off they all started. They first of all climbed out of the playroom window and then walked down the garden path to the front gate. The fairy doll led the way with the other dolls close behind. Then came the teddy bears, the rabbits, and the big sailor doll. After that came the clockwork toys, which had all been carefully wound up. Then came the books, the balls, the bucket and spade, the books, and one or two other toys. Nobody saw the toys going down the road except the policeman who stood at the corner. He was so astonished that he couldn't move a step, but just stood there with his mouth wide open in surprise. The toys slipped in at the big iron gate that led to the church hall, and by the time the policeman ran after them, they had disappeared. So he thought he must have dreamed them. The toys marched into the hall and went to the lucky dip tub. Near it was a big pile of brown paper and string. The teddy bear said he would wrap up the toys in parcels and do himself last of all. So he set to work, and soon every one of the toys was made into a paper parcel and had been tucked deep down into the tub. Last of all, the teddy bear wrapped himself up, but he couldn't tie the string. So he squeezed down into the sawdust with just a bit of brown paper rolled around him. Well, next day, when the poor children came along to the party, they were delighted to see there was a lucky dip. The lady who was looking after it wished that she had had more toys to put in the tub, for there were more children than she had expected. So you can guess how surprised she was to find so many toys there when the children came along to dip into it. "Dear me," she said when the teddy bear was drawn up, and a parcel of bricks, books, and the other toys. "Dear me! Someone must have put some more toys in after I had gone home last night. There are such a lot of really nice toys. How pleased the children will be." And so they were. They went home with their toys, hugging and cuddling them and shouting it to their mothers that they were the best and nicest toys they had ever had. "We will treat them well and take care of them," said all the children. How glad the toys were to hear that. And what about Millie when she came to her playroom the next morning to play with her toys? Ah, you should have seen her face when she opened her toy cupboard door and found it quite empty. Not a brick was there, not a doll, not a single book. Everything was gone and the cupboard was bare. Then Millie began to cry, and her nanny came running to see what the matter was. When she saw the empty cupboard, she shook her head. "I expect your toys have gone away to someone who will care for them and love them," she said. "Well, I don't blame them. I've a good mind to go away and leave you too. I would like a kind, good-tempered little girl to look after instead of you, Millie." "No, don't go," begged Millie, holding on to her nanny's hand. "I will be kind now, really I will. I won't ever hurt a toy again." Tomorrow her mother is going to buy her some more toys for her empty cupboard. I wonder if Millie will keep her promise. I expect she will, because she won't want her toys to run away again. I think she has learnt her lesson. Don't you?